switch. And I'm like, I gave you a rule. What? But anyways.
Corn.
What?
Let's just answer.
I forgot. What?
Okay.
I'm gonna kill you!
Does anyone have a K-On-related question? Not for Zero.
What is K-On?
What is K-On?
K-On is an anime about high school girls that make a high school band basically.
And and how they grow up through that band. Like,
it's a basic slice of life anime but with rock in it.
Is it anything like Aquarian Age?
I've never seen it.
No.
No.
You seen it?
No.
But
It's not.
Aquarian Age has these shooting beams of light that fight each other.
okay.
It's horrible.
You there?
Okay.
Why does the girl in the middle look pregnant for some reason?
Sorry, say again.
Why does the girl in the middle look pregnant?
It's just for boobs. It's just for boobs.
She's very well endowed for a 15-year-old.
I swear to God, I won't.
I've seen
Shiraya!
How do you guys come up with your voices for your characters?
Basically, well,
The premise for each character.
the premise for each character, for my premise, when I get involved, like, well, I can do like a stereotypical blonde voice, and that's where Moogie's voice came from. I mean, when I get into the voice, it kind of creates the character. Like, I can just get into like this voice, and I can just improv on the spot, and it becomes like the character and stuff.
People think we script the likes and yas and all that.
I do those all myself.
We script like a 3-word line, and then he adds like 7 words to it. But basically, it's just what the characters are like. Like, we take like
now.
like as soon as the first thing I knew I wanted to do when I saw this anime, I'm like, first thing I noticed is Mio's a moe blob. Every fanboy's gonna be in love with her. Let's make her the one with the lowest voice, and let's make her transsexual.
Yes.
Is that? Would that not be perfect? And Yui's pretty much the same, except a little stupider. Just a tad stupider, and a little more.
She's blonde. You
Really, she also like if anybody's watched K-On, they see like the sexual tension in there is pretty high. We just like quadrupled that with her. So
extremely.
We couldn't make her any more funny than she already is, to be quite honest with you.
Ritsu's pretty much the same, except we keep making Haruhi references.
Wait a minute.
If you noticed the headband.
We forgot something.
Hi.
Oh yeah, Zusa and the guitar.
Well, the guitar, there was a lot of things tossed around when we were coming up with the guitar. Some said demonic, some said pedophile, some said just about everything else under the rainbow you could imagine.
Always.
I just said, all right, I'll think of something, I'll send you into you whenever. Then the first guitar lines came in, and it was very creepy. I hate that.
It was basically everything you ever want and more.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about Sao and Notica? You need the mic.
I can talk about
Here?
it.
We can. It doesn't matter.
Really? Okay. Notica was just kind of like a last minute thing because like some of my girl voices are really, really bad. So I just did what I could with Notica, and surprisingly enough, everybody approved. As for Sawako, she is actually a reincarnation of my 5th grade teacher. I'm not lying. She was the craziest, strictest asshole of a teacher I could ever have, and she was my homeroom, so I had to go into the beginning of school with her and at the end. So I just I had to think really hard, and I thought, wait a minute, why don't I just think of my teacher? And everybody seems to love it.
And then toss in some Jack Black and you got it.
Yeah, some Jack Blacks are in it. And everyone else, Ui's.
Okay, I think for Ui already, just make it cuter than Yui somehow until we chose Deco.
Just like, and also,
Anyway.
Deco, not a lot of people know this, but Deco's my friend. He likes to pretend I'm his daddy and call me daddy. It's kind of embarrassing.
What?
So when we gave him this role, we're like, you know what to do with it. We're not going to tell you what to do. Just do it. Yeah. It's weird. Anyways.
Person
You behind born.
Yes.
Like, what kind of comedy inspires you?
Just anything we can
Everything.
think of. Like, the show itself is a comedy.
Watch the
So
reference episode.
whatever, like, it has a tendency to make, like, really good jokes and really bad jokes. So when the jokes are really, really bad, it's really, really easy for us to say, hey, that's a bad joke. Let's flip it around. Or if there's a really good joke that we know everybody's going to like, let's mess it up a little bit.
Most of it also just improv that we just toss stuff back and forth in Skype chat.
We
and
actually,
someone writes it down.
All of us watch the episode together when we script, and we say the first thing that comes to our mind, and we write it down, and
That comes to script somehow.
yeah, and somehow it's good, I guess. And then until we read it two months later, and we're like, what is this shit? Let's see. Anyone else?
Renji.
I just have a question because I
Can you
don't
speak
know.
up, please?
I don't know exactly what you're doing, but why did you do K-On?
Because it's
Why not?
Okay,
what?
Okay,
Yeah.
so the original guys voicing it. The original idea was, hey,
That's the joke.
what if we had a bunch of guys voicing a bunch of girls? How would that turn out? That's where this came up with.
We actually had a promo that said just that.
Yeah, the whole premise of it was that when spring anime 2009 was coming out, I was talking to Toaster about it. We were looking at it, we're like, yeah, there's gonna be some new seasons of shows we like. Brotherhood's coming out. And then we saw, in the corner of my eye, kind of saw this, girl with a guitar, and it said Can, and it didn't really explain what it was. I'm like, oh, this might be interesting. And then, so we didn't talk about it for a long time. And then he's like, dude, first episode's out. We watched it, literally said to him, we have to make fun of this. I can't not make fun of it. And we need to get other people too. And then we wrote that script, and it just went from there. And basically, and also the premise of doing a new show that nobody has touched. One episode was out when we decided to do it. And
So we were
it was
going completely
the
blind.
bold move for abridging, because usually you want to know your source material. We had no idea. We just said, screw that. We're just gonna do it. And it worked out for the better. Now that we've seen the series as far as it is, it's easier. But at the start, it's basically the premise of, this is new, let's mess with it before anybody else does. Okay. There's somebody else who had their hand up back there?
Yes.
From left to right, from my left to your right, and my left to my right, who is your favorite Kano character?
This is gonna be pretty much expected.
Pretty much the character that I voice. I like her the most because she doesn't get the most explanation. Out of the episodes I've seen, I'm not sure if they did this in season 2, but everyone got a character development episode in season 1. Mugi did not. You just expected to know the basics. Okay, so she's a stereotypical rich girl who's trying to seem normal. And
Without spoiling it, they dance around the idea of giving her one, and then just tack her on to the end of an episode. Yeah, Mugi is the most underrated character in the show.
But she's my favorite.
Yeah. Mine is expected, it's Yui, but the reason is because when I was watching the anime, Yui is a lot like I was in high school, except for the fact that I was a fat Canadian kid.
It wasn't that skilled at guitar.
Well, the thing was, it's so weird because I didn't know this until I watched more of the show. She learns guitar around the same time I do, plays her first show around the same time I did. Pretty much experience goes from there, and she was exactly the same as me. Airhead didn't really know what I wanted to do, so it was really weird connection. And I was I never had that with a character before, so she's always been my favorite. And she's I like to say she's an exaggeration of who I was.
Did you have the same obsession with cake?
Look at him! Do I look like I didn't have an obsession with cake? Yeah, but that's it for me. Basically, I like Yui because she's an exaggerated me, who I wish was as good as guitar.
I was actually afraid of this question because I could never give a straight answer between Mio and Sawako because Sawako is just batshit fucking insane, and everyone seems to love it. Yeah, right there. And Mio is just
I think that the drop.
Yeah, I always wanted
He
to
likes
do
traps.
that. I can tell my traps.
Isn't it?
But yeah, she's just so irresistible that people. Actually, no, I can't even talk right now. That's what I get for not taking my meds.
Yeah, but you're better off the pill. He actually is funny when he records Sawako before he takes his pills, because so it sounds crazy.
The pills mellow me out, and I think before I do Sawako. But Mio's just kind of a laid-back character, and I could be as lazy as I wanted to be when doing the lines. Half of them probably knows that, but other times
I wish you'd send me more than one take.
Yeah,
But don't be like Hokage and send me
50
30
takes.
minutes of lines for a 5-minute episode.
We're able to talk shit about him because he's not here.
Anyway, Eric, what's your favorite character?
Yeah.
Well, as with everyone else, my favorite character is the character that I play, so Azusa.
Yes.
The personality sort of reminded me a bit of, well, another character, Kyon. It kind of reminded me a bit of a female Kyon, and also I cannot resist cute things. It is an unfortunate fact.
And the fact that she's so easily manipulated.
Ha ha ha.